Hello guys, and welcome to a special, we'll call this review with spoilers of the movie Noah, because I I feel like the story is old enough that I can spoil it. Pretty sure it's in the Bible, so old enough. Here's where I have a little bit of a different thing than I normally do. I actually have a little list of points over on the side there that show someone else's work already of what's not true, or like what's not supposed to be in this movie. And their list is there were no rock monsters in the book in the Bible. Noah didn't have to worry about like trying to figure out what God wanted. Noah wasn't fighting to keep people out of the ark. Like there was no camps in the Bible. It's not like there was like 50 million people just sitting outside waiting to get on his boat. No, it didn't happen. All three of the sons already had wives when they got on the ark. There was none of this weird drama and bear traps and weird, just I don't know what they're trying to do with that in the movie, just trying to make drama. There was no stowaways on the ark. There was no guy that snuck on like through a hole and no one knew for like, however long until the rain stopped. 40 days at least before, someone would have noticed. I don't know. They did some stuff in there with like the animals, like putting them all to sleep. That was like that would make sense, but like not likely. They did. They had some weird stuff. What was the other thing on this list? Hold on, let me read it, because there's a couple more that don't fit on the screen. Like Noah never tried to kill any grandchildren. He wasn't just like, I'm gonna murder them if they're a girl, because it's my job. He never he knew his goals and what he was supposed to do from the beginning. He didn't kind of like wimbly bimbly just pick like, oh well, if my son has any daughters, mankind's supposed to die. So because daughters, that was the most ridiculous part of the movie. It's like they're just doing this to make you like really like they in the movie they're really trying to make you like hate Noah for like 30 minutes there, where you're like he's gonna kill babies. Ooh, like they were doing some ridiculous stuff, and I just couldn't figure out like Noah's job wasn't to decide if humans could extinct or not. Like he knew he was supposed to save somebody, save people. He was like the reason. He was like the last good person in the Bible, is what it said. He was like the last good person to be on the earth that was still friends with God, still talk and communicate with God, and that's why he was chosen to do this. Not because he was better than anyone, not because he would kill anyone, not because he would, make the right choice, or, be the judge and jury. He wasn't for that. So, let me read the rest. Yeah, that's the part you can see on the list there. There's no rock monsters. It doesn't say anything about the rock monsters. It does say something about the Nephilim in there. Like in Genesis 6, it talks about it. My book here real quick. Turn back to that page. Genesis 6. Verse 4 is where it says the Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also later. Like right before that, in Genesis, the number of people on earth began to grow, and the daughters were born of them. When the sons of God saw that these girls were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose, the Lord said, my spirit will not remain in human beings forever, because they are flesh and they will only live 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days and later. That was when the sons of God had sexual relationships with the daughters of human beings. Those women gave birth to children who became famous and were the mighty warriors of long ago. That's the only thing close to anything unhuman that we hear, and it doesn't say anything about like angels coming down and having mud clank to them and make them look like retarded rock people. These rock people in this movie look dumb. They just look like deformed something. I don't know what they're going for. It says so much more. It's just a short story in the Bible. It's not like the longest story. So I get to like make a 3-hour movie. They have to do something. But they really pulled stuff out of their hat for this. They were just like magic rocks, those yellow rocks that there's nothing about rocks in here. Like, I read through this just before doing this, like, to try and see if there was anything. The Nephilim thing is like the closest thing to anything kind of supernatural or weird, because it sounds like half angel, half human people. Um, they talked about like the rock people being, chased in the movie by being used by people and then being chased by people into almost extinction. There's just, so many weird things in the magic rocks. The magic rocks is what really, that was probably the thing that was just like, what are they? The dude puts one, the stowaway dude puts one in like a tube and like uses it like a firework and shoots it, at the thing, and then Noah throws it at the little raft and catches it on fire. It's like, what are they, like, what is this stuff? What are they doing? Like, I get you got Hermione Granger in this movie, but you just can't throw Harry Potter magic in it because you want to. It's supposed to be a Bible story. It's supposed to be, I don't know, a believable story. Not, if you wanted like to, I could see if they wanted to make this movie and change it to like Jack and the Beanstalk, or if they wanted to make it like Waterworld, where like it's post-apocalyptic world and everyone's dying and we're gonna have a flood. Like, I could see if they wanted to do Waterworld, or they wanted to do like the part where he plants this stupid seed they never talked about in the Bible. They never talked about having some seed from Garden of Eden that would just sprout up everything. They talked about water springing up from the ground and stuff, so they had a scene that had that happen, and then it starts flowing out in every direction, and then just starts making Grand Canyons everywhere. It's like starts eroding the ground so fast. It's like, I don't know quite where they're getting that from, but it did talk about water springing up from the ground before the rain fell and being part of the flood, but it didn't grow a magical forest where people started making tents and like trading, women for meat. And then there's stuff like that stupid scene where they're like chasing a scaly dog thing. It's like, what is this? Like, we're told that there's animals on the ark and stuff in the Bible. We're not told that there's like scaly, weird, half dinosaur, half dog things. I don't know what it was supposed to be, like a hyena. It was like you're living in like the most desolate place where there's like nothing, and there's this weird bony dog chupacabra thing. I don't know. Apparently that's something that didn't make it through evolution. It's like weird stuff like that. That's like, why are they chasing that? Like, I could see them chasing like a deer, gazelle, something, maybe eating a lion. I could see them doing something like that because they're desperate and they need meat. But like, what is this scaly? It looked really weird. I don't even know. It didn't seem like it was something that even needed to be in the movie, and it was just there for that scene. The weird thing with the snakeskin and wrapping it around their arm, like, what was that? It was like magical snakeskin from the Garden of Eden. I don't know what that was about. And it's not explained well enough in the movie, like, oh, it glows because it's touching, a descendant of Seth, I guess. Even as someone who knows stuff out of the Bible, I'm not an expert by any means, but there's things that I'm just like, I can read through this and be like, you didn't use the things that are in there, and you made up things that are just not in there to make this movie, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know what the goal was, but I wanted to watch this movie so I could kind of review it for some of my friends and say like the do's and don'ts of like what's in it and what's not. And I don't know. It's so weird. Like, just forgetting that the sons all had wives when they went on the boat. That's a weird step. Like, you have one son that has a son, or has a wife when he gets on the boat and has kids. And it doesn't say in the Bible that he had any kids on the boat. It doesn't say that he had twin daughters. It actually says that like 2 years after the ark, then he has his first son. What's his name? I forget. It's in there. Just read Genesis. Like, read Genesis from 6 to like 10. You'll have the whole story of Noah. It's in there. That's where it's at. And there's nothing about some of the weird stuff in this movie. It's so weird. I don't know how they got away with it and how they think. It's Hollywood, obviously, so it's Hollywood, like, we're gonna make a movie. But it's a very weird sentiment to make a movie and have things so wrong that like people that do know stuff can go in and be like, I don't I don't know, and I heard a couple people outside the theater that were kind of like defending it, like, well, if they don't know the Bible, they shouldn't even watch this movie. It's like most people don't read books and go to the movie for things. A lot of people will just go to the movie. Like nowadays, I'm one of those people that I'm like, I don't have time to read a book. I'm going to go to the movie. But this is one of the things I do know. I have read, so not trying to be. I don't know. I'm not trying to be someone who's like, I know better than they do, and I could have done a better movie. Like, as far as movies go, I think the movie was fine. Like, I think it's something worth watching. I think it's something. I mean, they had like cool effects and stuff, and like the water and the flood and the boat looked kind of cool. I don't know if they quite follow the specifications. It seemed weird. Like in the Bible, it says, like once Noah went on, that God shut the door. Not that like Noah kept he kept playing with the door, and it was like heavy. It's like he's like told his sons to get in there while he fends off the people that are trying to fight to get in the boat. There was no one trying to fight to get in the boat. They thought he was crazy. Like, these people probably thought, like, we live in the desert. There's no such thing as rain at this time. Like, they probably thought you're kind of weird. As far as Bible stories go, this is the reason I feel so connected with this story. This is like the first story when I started working with like kids and stuff. This is the first story that I could remember from like a Bible school kind of thing that I went to when I was really young, and I wasn't in a church when I was a kid, but I remember the story. And so when I first taught kids, this is one of the first stories that I taught, and it definitely didn't go with this movie at all. Like, anything that I had to say just didn't go with this. So it makes me really feel a little bit more connected to the story because I have taught on it and used it as a teaching device. So hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from there. Like, I have used this story to talk about how, like, God was friendship. He had friendship with Noah, and that's why he saved him. It was not, it wasn't like the end of the world, and it wasn't Noah's choice. It wasn't anything Noah did. It was all through God. And in this movie, they never could say God. They said the Creator. They said the Creator like 50 times, but they could never say God. They never, they never connected it to, Jehovah. They never said. They never gave him a name. They never said the great I am. Noah pretty much almost didn't really even pray to him. He kind of just like kept looking up at the clouds, like, what should I do? But then, like, you never hear anything. He never got anything back, which I don't think that's how it was. According to the Bible, it seemed like he was, in communication with God and was getting something from God. So that's one of those things in the movie was like they had this Mufasa moment where he looks up at the clouds like looking for Mufasa, and the clouds are kind of glowing behind it, and then it fades away like, oh, nothing, no answer. Oh. And everyone else is like, he hasn't talked to us since the beginning, They're like, the movie was really, I don't know, it had so many things, and those stupid magic rocks. What were these glow-in-the-dark yellow magic rocks? I don't know. I could get past the rock people because they showed it kind of a cool way, and they showed them like, coming down and like mud covering them up and stuff, and that being like a curse for them disobeying God. I'm fine with something like that. Could have, in my mind, could be an imaginary thing, and I could see that as a movie plot device thing, and I'm fine with that. There's a couple other things that I'm like, okay, whatever. They kept showing that like dream sequence of like the snake and the garden and the apples like pulsing, doom 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 doom, and you're like, what is that? The heart is a heart, or the apple's a heart, or the fruit is a heart, whatever it is, because it never really says what fruit it is in the Bible. So they kept showing this like pulsing like doom doom kalima, like they kept showing this heart thing, and I don't. And then the Adam and Eve kind of thing, they show a little bit of them kind of, silhouette, kind of glowing yellow people in the garden. I don't know, it was weird, like they tried to visualize it as like simplistic and not very detailed, because, like, can't have naked people strolling about on the screen in the theater, because most people won't go see that. But I don't know. I get so the way they did that and stuff was was classy and well choiced, but then like having Noah like want to kill his grandchild and like up with the knife and so mad, it's like, what are you doing? Like that's not in there at all. Like it doesn't say anything about them having a child while they're on the boat. It doesn't say any of that. It doesn't say that Noah was like passing judgment and saying he had to kill people and there was no stowaway on the boat. Like so many things that I'm just like, how did, like, I could get away with like one or two of these if it had to, like, you know, it was necessary to make the rock people to make the movie, but it never says there was rock people helping him build the boat. It never says that in the Bible. So I don't know where they're pulling this stuff from. I don't know. Man, there's so many things, and I'm just baffled by the arrogance of this director putting this stuff in the movie. Like, I don't know what. I don't get it. It's I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, there's those magic rocks, man. As much as I want them, they are not in the book. They're not in the real Bible. They're not there. So, anyways, yeah, I guess that's kind of my thoughts on this movie. I think they could have done a lot better. Visually, some things are pretty cool. If you have a good understanding of the actual story and you know that there's going to be a bunch of bogus stuff in this movie, you might be okay seeing it. If you really don't know, don't go watch it, because then you're going to have these weird misconceptions, and that's probably not good for most people. It's really just not for you. I would say if you read the parts in Genesis about Noah, Genesis 6 through 10 or so, you can read the last part of 5, talks about how old Noah was. He's like 500 years old when he's making this boat. It takes him about 100 years because he's 600 years old when he gets off the boat. There's stuff like that that you can read, you know, before you go in, and you'll have kind of a better idea. Also, one cosmetic thing that I have to throw in there is when Noah's like working on the boat, he has like this buzz haircut thing going on, and it's like so perfect, like so, like definitely use clippers to do it. It's like, I get Jennifer Connelly's your wife and she's probably good at cutting hair, but not that good. Like there's just, it's too perfect, like it's too buzzed, and then like his beard is just all scraggly and like still, you know, it's like you buzz the top of your hair, but the beard is like, you know, frisky whiskers, you know, just going everywhere, look like craziness. And you're in the theater, you can see like close up, you're like, dang, like there's a lot of scenes where, like, you know, there's like mud on their face or splattered stuff, you know, and like you can see the detail in this. It's really good, really good quality in the theater. It looked really great. You know, to some point it's like unnecessary. Like there's one part and they're like doing gardening work, and like Jennifer Connelly's hands are just like mud, and like, you know, she's like, you get like a really close up of her hands as she like puts her hand around Noah, like she's hugging him or doing something, you know, and it's like you just see her arm like around, and you just see like this dirty fingers just like, okay, I mean, like they went into detail and like didn't have these like clean prissy actors that are like, oh, I don't want to touch the dirt, but then they went so far off on other things, like I don't know. Like if you can have someone out there doing gardening stuff, that's fine, but if you want to play with magic rocks, it's just weird. It's just weird. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this. I wanted to get this up relatively soon because the movie has been out a while. I just went and seen it, so it took me a while to get to go see it. I hope this gives you guys at least some information about what was actually in the Bible, and I'm not trying to push any religious views on you guys. I am just merely restating some facts here. I'm not trying to be judgmental or pushy. Hope you guys understand that. I am just sharing what I know and the truth of the story and where the movie got it wrong. Love you guys. Hope you guys are having a great week, good times, and appreciate everyone that watches this. Thank you.